Welcome to the Gear Slum, your one-stop shop for all things guitar culture nonsense. This is our Sesquicentennial episode. I'm Aaron.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Cole.
We slum it hard so you don't have to. Big 150.
Is the never mind. I was trying to
Sesquicentennial?
like Sesquicentennial?
Sesquicentennial?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that are old,
Phil, what's up
I
with
feel
you?
old when I have this idea, this feeling in my heart. This is what makes me feel old. Why is everything a challenge now? You know what I'm talking about? So
Phil,
like kids will do
I
something,
can't,
right?
I can't hear you and Phil sneezing when Phil's being so rude
sorry.
and rudely sneezing.
So there's like if there's like a trending action or something, everyone calls it a challenge, like ice bucket challenge. It's not an ice bucket challenge. It's just pouring ice water on yourself.
Yeah.
But then it's like even worse because other things aren't even like hard. Like, oh, it's the lava challenge. That's not a challenge.
Pouring hot lava on your head.
Or like now the new one is like hit the woe. The hit the woe
Yeah, it's
challenge.
not challenging. It kills you, but it's not hard.
You do this little hand motion. That's not a challenge. It's just a thing that you do. We're doing the podcast challenge right now is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dude, if we
The
were to get
podcast
up,
challenge is we've been doing for a couple years now is record a podcast a week for 150 weeks, and
Yeah,
we just did the challenge.
mailed it.
The-
That's my old man.
This is
gripe.
Aaron's "Get Off My Lawn" segment. This is his
dude.
"Get off the grass on my field" segment.
It bothers me because it's so stupid.
It is very stupid. I think the thing,
But it,
like
it
this
started with. Go on.
No, you go ahead, Phil.
Well, I'm wondering if it started with things that were actually challenging.
Well, even like the ice bucket challenge is like, I challenge you to do this.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what
okay.
that's like where it came from. Was like you do the video and you challenge two more people, and like it was ostensibly for charity, and
But now
like
it's just like
freaking mannequin
challenge has become
challenge.
it's become the new word for viral, basically.
Okay, but like the cinnamon challenge.
Synonym.
Hot pepper,
You're familiar-
like the hot pepper challenge.
You're familiar with the cinnamon challenge?
Yeah, the cinnamon challenge actually does make for some pretty funny videos.
What's the
though.
cinnamon challenge?
So
Where you
it's
just,
just
like,
take
eat
a
a
spoon. It's just take a big freaking spoon of cinnamon and eat it, and don't.
And it just like jacks you up because it makes you
Don't
cough. It makes you cough when you're trying to swallow it, and then it comes out your nose.
Because it's all dry.
And then having cinnamon in your nose apparently just like is really painful.
Oh, I bet. I had Butterfinger in my nose once, and that was not good.
You put a Butterfinger in your nose?
No, I was eating it, and I sneezed, and it came out my nose.
Dude, that was like I did the 1 pound challenge at Fuddruckers, and you had to do chili cheese fries when I did it, and I threw up between the chili cheese fries and the dessert, and one of the chili beans got stuck in my nose on the way out.
So what was the challenge? You had to eat a burger and chili cheese fries and a dessert?
A 1 pound burger. So it's like this huge. It's like the size of a dinner plate. You know,
It's like a pound. Yeah. That's a
it's
lot.
like 16 ounces, 16 Troy ounces.
It's like 4 quarter-pounders together.
Yeah, it's like the
Wait,
McDonald's
and
has
chili
that
cheese fries?
McDonald's has that quadruple quarter pounder. You know. Yeah, and now apparently you can
It's
do
like
it. And I
2
hate
double
chili.
quarter-pounders.
You can do it
Hate
with
chili?
the bacon cheese fries now, which is like I'd freaking eat a pound of those. Yeah, so you have to
Dude,
do
chili
that.
cheese fries are like my go-to. I love them.
This big old thing of chili cheese fries and then like a big dessert thing. I think there were a couple options with that, but yeah, I didn't make it. And of course, the guy I went with finished it, and so I felt like a little freaking pansy. That's back when that was a bad thing.
See, that's a
I
challenge.
didn't want to be. Yeah,
I accept that as
and
a
I
challenge.
failed. Like you can't fail at the ice bucket challenge unless you're using like.
Well,
a
now it's like now they have like
and it crushes your head.
Now they have the put your hand on your head challenge or something stupid like that. The walk backwards for 2 seconds challenge.
You know what I think they should do? A freaking homework challenge so these kids would actually do their homework for once.
Yeah, dude. If I was a teacher, I would do that.
Smoking drugs.
And we're gonna do the
quit
shut your
smoking
freaking
drugs
mouth challenge. How about that?
The what?
Class is getting a little out of hand. We're gonna do the shut your mouth challenge right now.
Yeah, it's like playing Hush Puppy.
I challenge you to shut up.
Did you guys have the quiet game? My family called it Hush Puppy.
No,
and I think it was mostly designed for me. Because I was
hear the
very
best
loud.
thing that ever happened in my life, and I remember this so clearly.
When you got married?
When I was probably in like high school. No, this is even better. When I was in high school, I think my older brother had left the house already, so it must have been like I was like a junior or senior. So my younger brother would have been like 7th or 8th grade, and we were like getting ready to go somewhere, and it was me, my brother, and my dad who were home, and my brother kept bugging my dad, and he kept going like, "Are you ready, Dad? Are you ready? Are you ready?" And then my dad said, "Hey, are you ready to shut up?"
Oh my gosh, that's pretty great.
It's a very clear memory. I love it.
Your
That's
dad
the only
sounds
thing my
pretty
dad
dope.
ever said to us.
Oh really? Jeez.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It was pretty funny.
You would
Pretty
laugh until he got
funny.
the belt out, right?
Ooh, the belt.
Say it in my good ear.
That was another funny thing that I did.
You've done a lot of funny
guys,
things,
we got a big show for you today. You might even say it's a twofer, because what I have for you
Grace?
is the recap of something amazing.
How many
Double
episodes
shot.
are you recapping? By the way,
Is it a movie
It's technically
about
2
a girl?
episodes. Well, it was a 2-hour in like season premiere, but now it's broken up into season 1 episode 1 and season 1 episode 2. Like if you go back on demand or something.
Are you talking about that movie where the girl gets shot in the spine during that school shooting, but then she becomes a pop star?
No. Are you talking about Her Smell?
Who's?
Actually, this is not that distant from Her Smell in some ways.
okay?
What if you made
Gross.
this whole time? I thought you were saying hearse mail, like there was a hearse that, like somebody, like some small town didn't have a mail, like delivery guy, so he like bought an old hearse and
Dude, that'd be
was,
a
like
good
serving
movie.
the town. Hearse mail.
That's a funny movie. Like the Undertaker has to become the mail deliverer too.
Yeah, because like life expectancy is going up, but also like not very many people are mailing stuff anymore. So like the mail guy just like gets laid off completely, and he's like, oh,
Yeah.
there's an opening in the market, you know.
So you don't know, did someone die or am I getting mail or what? Like every
Yeah.
day you're living
Yeah,
with
like
that
it's
fear.
scary every time they come to the door. Like, oh crap! But also, like, if someone died, it wouldn't be like the coroner that would come. It'd be like the police or something. You know, like why
No,
is
the
the
Undertaker.
why is the
Undertaker's coming?
the embalmer guy coming to tell me that my grandma died?
Oh man, that's funny. No, what we're talking about here is Double Shot of Love with Paulie D and Vinny. I don't know if Vinny's part of the actual title, to be honest, but he has to be because he is. We hinted at this.
Shout out to Michael Newman, by the way. He posted this pretty great Photoshop of Paul Giamatti with Paulie D's hair.
Yes.
It's like Paulie
Oh yeah,
D
that was
Amati.
pretty good.
Yeah, it was way good.
Also, the Pauly Shore, Pauly Dean.
Yeah, Pauly Shore, Paulie
Oh my
Dean one.
goodness.
And of course, the bubble just says, "Today we're going to be wheezing the juice."
Yeah.
So dumb.
Yeah.
Shout out
All
to
right,
Michael
so
Newman.
on
For being a farmer.
April 12th,
He has a great
April 11th.
radar for internet funniness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, he's like a hipster farmer though.
I know exactly, but like
He's a hipster farmer.
He sells raw milk. He's a hipster farmer.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. But like when you think of farmer, you don't also think of somebody who like posts killer memes and stuff, you know. Maybe that's just
you don't.
Maybe I'm just
but you should
bigoted
because
against
they do.
farmers. Wait,
Maybe
the farmer was a meme artist? I think his wife's a doctor too.
Meme artist.
Meme
So,
artist.
April 11th, 2019, premiered what I predict will go down in history as one of the great television series of all time. You got Breaking Bad. You got, I guess, Game of Thrones. I don't know. You got The Sopranos, The Wire, Double Shot of Love with Paulie D and Vinny. So,
Okay.
the series opens on a mansion. Paulie D and Vinny.
Is it the same
so
mansion
Paulie
that
D,
they do Bachelorette?
Paul Del Vecchio. No. They do what at? Bachelorette?
Like The Bachelor?
I don't think so. It's like the cheesiest mansion you can imagine. So when they show up, it's in Hollywood, first of all. But the first scene you see is Paulie D and Vinny wearing tuxedos with the sleeves cut off.
Jeez. Like both, like the shirt and the coat.
Yeah. It's a sleeveless tuxedo.
So you can see their biceps.
So you can see their guns, their arms. Yes. And here's what's funny. What they
don't
say
have guns
is-
because it's in California.
Here's what they say though. You know how on The Bachelor they say, "Will you accept this rose?"
Yeah.
Well, one of their joke catchphrases is, "Will you accept these bros?"
So it's not like it's not because like there's plenty of shows that are inspired by The Bachelor, but this is like an actual like parody take on The
Kind of,
Bachelor.
yeah.
That's great. I'm automatically more interested in it just knowing that one thing.
So they say that, but when you actually get kicked off, maybe I'll save that for later because I'll save the elimination for later. But
They throw a pie in your face?
no, they say something that true Jersey Shore fans will appreciate. All right, so you get them, you see their mansion, which has like a motorcycle in the front room and like golden shoes on the wall, golden sneakers on the wall, and like obviously a bar. It's really like the most gaudy, cheesy. Like imagine if like someone from the Jersey Shore was like imagining, like had never been to the Playboy Mansion, but they were imagining what it would be like. This is this mansion.
Yeah.
Don't insult their culture.
I mean, from the Jersey Shore television series, not like from
Someone
Jersey
who
Shore,
lives there.
the
Yeah,
place,
just some
not
dude.
from the place.
It's like some elementary school teacher on the Jersey Shore. Why would you think that about me?
So it's really bad. And then they tell you that they're going to bring in experts, and those experts are going to be. Can you guess who?
Oh, what's her face?
Yep.
Snooki.
Yep.
And
Dr. Drew?
Nope.
Dr. Dre.
No, it's going to be Snooki, JWoww.
JWoww. That's what I was trying to think of. Oh,
What
is
are
it
they
Dr. D?
experts in?
They're experts in Paulie D and Vinny. So if Paulie D and Vinny have like questions like, "Oh, should I go with this girl?" They're going to be like, "Let me tell you why you should or should not go with this girl."
Okay.
Does she have a bleached anus? Sorry, was that too much?
Yes, it was. So then the cab shows up, and the cab. Oh well, the cab comes later, but I'll get to that.
I just
So
like the idea that like somebody, because normally like you'd go to your confidant and it would be like your dad or some older wiser person, and they would help you see that like you really need to focus on what really matters. But you're going to Snooki and JWoww, and they're like, okay, how big are her boobs?
No, they're moms now, so they're very adult. So I wrote this down. I wrote down most 2000s house ever as my description.
Yeah,
But check
yeah.
this out. Inside the house upstairs, they have a built-in barber shop, and they bring in barbers to do their hair.
It's
whenever they
like
want.
when they do cribs, and it's somebody who's not actually rich,
Yeah.
but who's like kind of famous. Like they do.
Yes.
Like I was still struck by when they did Billy Joel's house. And it was just like, you could tell he was just like one of the richest people on the planet because everything was just amazing. But then they do like some like freaking Papa Roach or something like that. And it's like, oh yeah, they want it to look like they're rich, but they're just in some like suburb in some, 2,000 square foot house or whatever. And with golden tennis shoes on the countertop or whatever. Okay, sorry.
Yes, Billy Joel is very wealthy.
He's very wealthy.
It is.
He was married to Christy
like
Brinkley, guys.
He was.
That's enough wealth right there, you know.
But she was married to him.
Yeah, which is a questionable decision, I guess.
Billy Joel has no hair. So the barbershop. So they set the scene, right? So they're in the house. They're like, this is cool. And then they decide they're going to bring in 20? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 20 women for them to date simultaneously. But that's not it. They have a twist. Paulie D comes up with a twist. Prank war champion. He says, here's the prank we're going to do. For the first 10, we're going to bring in the first 10 women. No, we're going to bring in the first 10 women. Vinny, you're going to act like you're just the host of the show, and they're going to think they're only dating Paulie D. Then we'll flip it for the second 10 women. We'll tell them they're only dating Vinny, and that Paulie D is the host.
That is,
I'm so on board.
And then we'll bring the two groups of women together and say, not only are you dating both of us, but also you're competing with 10 additional women.
Dude, that
okay.
My expectations were so low when you said that Paulie D came up with a prank, right, Phil? And that just blew the expectations out of the water.
Here's one reason why I find that hilarious and insane. These women are coming on this show and they don't know who they're supposed to like.
Well, not only that.
They're like, oh, you? Okay, cool. All right.
Dude, not only you? That. They bring them into the house and they're like, who is the guy? They have no idea who they're there to date.
Right.
Yeah, but
all they know is it's someone famous.
But then all of them are going to profess their love for him.
Yeah, they don't even know that it's one of them. They just know it's somebody famous.
It wasn't, I want to try and date someone from the Jersey Shore. It was like literally someone famous. That's it.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And then they got there and it's Paulie D and they're like, I thought you said famous.
So they bring there's 10 women in the house. I'll come back. I'll describe them in a minute. But there's 10 women in the house. They're all sitting there like fixing drinks for themselves and each other and like talking. And then they're like, who is the guy? Who are we
They're
dating?
fixing drinks for each other?
Yeah, because there's like a bar.
That's very kind.
We'll talk about the dynamics of the group.
Wait, I didn't know there was going to be alcohol involved in this.
So they're like, who's the guy? So Vinny walks down the stairs, and some of them are like, oh, it's Vinny. Like, and then they're like doing talking head stuff. They're like, oh, I love Vinny. I really want to date him. And then he's like, I'm not the guy. I'm just the host. And they're like, what? And they're like, here's your real guy, Paulie D. And he comes out. And then some of the girls are like, oh, yeah, Paulie D, way better than Vinny. And some of them are like, oh, I kind of wanted to date Vinny. It's hilarious. But let me go down.
Also,
the list.
I love the type of girl who has like a really strong preference for one over the other. Like,
yes,
they're very similar. Yes. They're kind of two sides of the same coin, you know.
Well, look at their
like in their public persona, anything that they would know about them.
So Paulie's pretty outgoing and Vinny's pretty shy.
Just quit freaking Jersey Shore splaining.
He's the shy boy.
Shy boy.
But
no, I'm sorry. I don't mean to oversimplify this.
Can you look at Paulie D's hair and tell me they're the same?
He's one of a kind. But here's the funny thing. Like they have this like narrative that Vinny's like really shy and like not outgoing. But he's like always going to clubs and sleeping with random women. So like that doesn't really fly there.
Yeah.
You don't have a shy guy persona. Okay. So I'm going to go down. I took notes of the 10 women in each group, and then we'll talk about the groups one at a time. So we got Ellie. I wrote down 3.89. I think that means that she has a 3.89 GPA.
What?
Who brags about that?
She's an adult.
I mean, she had one. Like, that's her thing. Like, I'm really smart. Well, some of them are, like, there's a pretty wide range of ages.
But first of all, unless you have a 4.0, like, never mention your GPA as an adult. But unless it's a 4.0, like, especially don't mention it.
No, she's like, I'm smart. I went to college and I got 3.89.
Oh, in college? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I don't know. Yeah,
no,
anyways,
it's still weird.
I assumed it was high school. It's still weird, but it's a weird thing.
Weird.
Because like nobody cares about your GPA. Tell us what your job is.
I mean, I think that's what that means. I doubt that I was rating her attractiveness. and gave anything like a 3.89. That's a
Out
pretty
of what?
specific.
Like, man, that is so granular.
Out of 10.
If that's out of 10, man, that's a lot of.
Then we got Allie. Allie's from Nashville, and she acts like it. That's all I'll say.
Strong accent.
Strong accent. She's white. Red hair. She's crazy.
I'm surprised.
Then you got Susie. Susie is from Irvine, California, and she
South
says
Shore?
she's an RN. She is the
Registered nurse?
loudest person to ever exist. I'm sorry, what?
Nothing.
Okay.
I do want to say, how many of these women does it? For how many of these women does it show an occupation?
None. It doesn't. Some of them talk about it, but it doesn't like say it.
Yeah, that used to be a thing, and now it's like none of
Yeah.
these women have jobs because this is their job, or they want this to be their job.
Well, Susie
Right?
has a job. She's an RN.
Yeah, but like it used to be underneath every single person's name if you'd watch The Bachelor or something.
Yeah. You're right. This is not The Bachelor. I'm just kidding.
Not your grandpa's Bachelor.
So then you got Nikki. Nikki's from Jamaica, and she did a headstand pretty much right away.
A headstand?
Yeah, headstand.
So like that's her thing. Like, hey, check me out.
Yeah, it's wild. But
Was
okay, here's where it
Was
gets
she at
good.
least wearing
the next,
pants?
What?
It wasn't like her dress didn't like just come up over her head or something, did it?
No.
Okay.
Then you have this girl named Brittany, but she doesn't go by Brittany. She goes by B Lashes because
So
she always
blashes.
has crazy eyelashes.
I really hope that they call her blashes.
No, they call her Balashes.
Balashes.
There's a little pause. The B Lashes. B Lashes is from Long Island. And as Vinny says, I hate Long Island girls. So
Again, like that is such a fine, like the difference between Jersey Shore girls and Long Island girls. That's such a fine distinction.
I don't think he likes Jersey Shore girls either.
Oh, okay. Then that makes sense.
Then you have Darren, Derynn. She spells it. She describes herself as a former fat girl, which, come on. She's also a cat lady. So
What?
Oh no, wait.
The cat lady came in when she was fat, obviously.
No, hold on. I wrote cat lady, but I forgot what that actually means. So later on in the episode, when they're all drinking, this girl gets down on all fours and starts walking around the house like a cat, making cat noises.
Yikes.
She turns into a literal cat lady.
See, that's what sucks about these shows is once they've been done a few times, like the girls recognize that really what you have to do, like the producers are really choosing, at least at first. Like if the producers tell them they have to keep somebody, they're going to keep them. And if you can just if you can just do something stupid enough to get enough attention the first night, then they'll keep you around for a little while.
Yeah, she's crazy. You got Mish, who I wrote down, is this girl drunk?
It's
'Cause
gonna
I don't
be
think she
Mish.
was, but she sounded like she was. Later on, this girl Mish just starts crying alone. It's really sad. And then, but here's the dynamic of group one. The
She
girls
should
go
be
to help
crying.
her.
All of those girls should be crying because
No,
they're
listen.
on
The
this
girls
show.
go to help her, and they're like, "What's wrong, Mish?" And she's like, "I just don't feel like I belong here." And they're like, "No, you're beautiful. You're great. You belong here." And then she's like, "Cool, let's have fun."
And she's like, no, the fact that I do belong here is why I'm crying. Because I'm seeing...
And then you got Ashley. Ashley, I wrote down, why so serious? Because she takes this game very seriously.
Dude.
She's crazy.
I love those ones.
I do not like her at all. She's the girl that hates all the other girls.
Like, how many times will she accuse someone of being there for the wrong reasons?
Yeah, but
season?
here's the other
Probably
funny thing
1,000.
about her is she keeps talking about like how she's used to guys coming after her. And I'm like, you're on a dating show, though. Like, how cool are you if you're on a dating show?
Yeah, if there's that many guys going after you, you would just be dating somebody in real life.
Yeah. Then you got Kate with a C, C-A-T-E. Oh, this is what I was wrong. He doesn't hate Long Island girls. He hates Staten Island girls. And Kate is from Staten Island. And she's got a giant red poof of hair on her head. And it is wild. I wrote down the capital worst capital. Later on, she'll get drunk and fall into the hot tub fully clothed.
Nice.
Then the last one in this group is Nadia. Nadia
damn business.
Nadia likes to talk about her biological clock. How she's
Yikes.
not getting any younger.
How old is she?
So
Like 24 or something?
like 37 or something.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, she might have a point then.
So then they bring them out and like they talk to the girls, and this is the trope that I realized from these dating shows: the "Can I steal him for a minute?" thing.
Yep.
Yes.
You know that? It's so
And they
funny.
get and the other girls get so pissed. I love it.
And they all do it.
Yeah. They're just constantly stealing it from each other.
Can I steal him for a minute? At one point, Ashley, someone says, "Can I steal him for a minute?" And she says no. And then the other girl, I think it was Kate.
And nobody
So
ever
Ashley,
does say no. And it's like, why
I-
not just say no? Because what are they going to do?
So Ashley says no, and then Kate says, "I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to him. Don't be such a bee."
Well, then it's like,
And
then
then-
you shouldn't have said, "Can I steal him?" You dummy. You should have said, "Can I steal
Can
you?"
I steal you? So that happens a lot, and then they have a talent show, and they make the girls do a talent, and that's where Nikki does her headstand, Jamaican Nikki. But then, while they're deliberating, they're like, "Oh, let's go talk about these girls, Paulie and Vinny." They go upstairs, they talk about it in the barbershop while they're getting a lineup. How freaking cool is that? And then they go downstairs and they say, like, you know, the spiel.
Yeah.
And they talk to all the girls and they say, if they want them to stay, they said, can you put your number in my phone?
What? Wait,
So
what
they
did you
do.
say before, though?
If they want
catch-
them to stay. So they're like, okay, you're the girl that I want to stay. Can I have your number? Can you put your number in my phone?
Oh, what?
And
Oh,
they'll do
the
it.
thing you said, will you accept these bros?
Yeah, well, you accept these bros. They don't actually say that. That's just like a tagline.
Oh, okay. Dang, they should say that. That'd be good.
They should. But they say, can I have your number? Can you put your number
But
in
wait,
my
so
phone?
each one says it about a different one?
No, so at this point, they're still
Or
under the...
do they share a phone?
No, at this point,
Oh, they still think that they're
they
split up
still
into
think
two
they're
different
only
groups.
dating one guy. So
they in a-
Paulie goes to this group of 10. He tells 8 of them, he's like, we're going to eliminate 2 people. 8 of you, can you put your number in my phone?
But have they been hanging out with all 20 women the whole time?
Yeah. Well, no, just 10. They're doing the first 10 alone.
Okay.
And then
so
they do the second 10 separate.
Okay.
So I forget who it was. One of the girls started crying. And
Oh,
so
that
she
was
left.
all
She
of
took
them.
herself out. She took herself out of the game. And so
The one who was saying
they-
she didn't fit in?
no, she stayed. It was a different girl who started crying
Oh, okay.
because she wasn't getting enough attention, I think. So she started crying and like hiding. She was like crying in the corner.
It's like you went on a
and then
show
she's
with
like-
9 other girls to compete for one guy. How much attention were you expecting?
Yeah, exactly. So
That's
she's
always
crying.
the
So
thing,
she
though.
leaves. So she's out. The last person, he says, you were great. It was nice talking to you, but your cab is here. And then she leaves.
And that's how they
That's
send
how
them
you
off?
get kicked out. That's how you get sent off.
And then does it
your cab
show
is
them?
here.
So ostensibly, like they have everyone's number in their phone at this point, except for a couple, right? So then in future
Well,
episodes,
yes.
will they delete that
I
person
don't
from
know.
their phone? I wonder.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just your cab's here, and I'm
They
going
got
to
to
keep your
show
number.
that. I like that you're watching this through the lens of never having watched any of the Bachelor-like shows.
Yeah, I have not. I've watched Jersey Shore, but I'm not familiar with The Bachelor, so a lot of the stuff is new to me.
Yeah.
So
and a lot
surprisingly-
of it might be unique to this show, but then some of it is probably just like direct rips from other shows, you know.
Right. I do watch a lot of reality TV, but it's mostly like not competition based
Yeah.
in the pure sense. It's like Real Housewives and different form of competition.
They're competing
Kardashians.
to be the worst human beings on the planet.
So group one, you're like, group one, all right, cool. These girls are like, these women are supportive of each other. They're like getting along. They're having fun. They're doing all right. They're not bad. And then
Group 2.
group two comes in, and they all hate each other from the jump.
And they're thinking that they're going for Vinny.
For Vinny, yeah. Who's the shy boy. of the
Yeah,
team.
yeah. He's like the more subdued. Yeah.
Yeah, he's more
The shy boy who sleeps with women all the time at nightclubs and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So first you have Maria.
It's not like
Maria
he plays
was
Magic the
previously
Gathering.
on. Oh, yeah. Maria was previously on another MTV dating show called Are You the One? And she lost. So now she's come back to this show for redemption, for a second chance. A double shot at love, if you will. You got Shira, who can't
Second
cook.
shot at a double shot.
Yeah. Her second shot is a double shot. She went double or nothing.
So wait, explain to me how double or nothing works.
What's the over-under on a double shot at love?
What's the over?
I will say Group 1 is sponsored by Sinusoid Pro Audio Couture. Check out their
What's the
Sasquatch
VIG?
cable and the slivers. What's the VIG?
What's the VIG on double shot of love?
Oh, man.
Group two's
I don't know
definitely
what that
gonna be
means. I just know it's a gamble thing.
The VIG is like what you have to pay.
You don't have to explain it to me, Aaron. I was
know.
making a joke.
I know.
I didn't
I
know
don't
that's
know
what
what
the
it is
VIG
either.
was, for the record.
What is the VIG? I
Okay,
know
so tell us
the-
about Group 2. Oh, wait. Did
so
you want to
there's-
say anything else about Sinusoid?
No, I do not. I want to talk about... Oh, sorry.
Group 2?
I will say sometimes the VIG is called the juice.
Stop Googling the VIG and tell us about Group 2. You're like,
So Group 2 starts Maria,
Siri,
who was on Are You the
what
One?
is the VIG?
You got Shira, who can't cook. Later on, she's going to have a conversation with Vinny where he asks her if she can cook. And she says, no, but I can learn. And then he's like...
Oh, so she's like
I don't-
every other human being in their 20s. Like, that's not
He's
unique.
like, I don't like this person who like only wants to be what they think I want them to be. This gets pretty deep, pretty good.
But also, like, that's a normal thing that you would say.
Yeah.
Like, she's not saying, but if you want me to, I will. It's like, no, I don't. I can't cook that
I mean,
much.
she
but I
kind of
can learn.
does. She kind of
Oh,
does.
she
do that.
okay. Never mind.
Yeah. Then you have Christina, who I described as yoga brain. I put brain in quotations because she thinks she's really smart, but she doesn't sound or act really smart.
Oh, so she's like,
And she's also a yoga
president?
instructor.
nice.
I got Victoria on there.
Okay, I'm gonna go out
for
on a
Victoria-
limb. Are most of these women like classically attractive? Would you say?
I would say no. But yes and no.
Like they're all like slender and
No.
have like symmetrical faces. They're not.
I mean, yes. So they're not like movie star attractive.
They don't look like an actual cross section of America, though.
They look like an actual cross section of the people who would want to date these people.
Oh, so monsters.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to.
But yeah, they've clearly been.
But is there a
like-
very because sometimes on
Well,
The
so
Bachelor,
here's-
I mean,
I will say, yeah. Go ahead.
it's harder that there's two people, but a lot of times I think they try to make it less obvious. But sometimes you can tell that like the guy, especially, I think guys are probably more prone to have like a type. But sometimes it's like every girl looks very similar,
Yeah, it's not like that.
and like you picture him
So you
going
got
through like
you got
the
like white
headshots.
girl. You have different races of people. You have different kind of
Like the fact that you mentioned there are
bodies,
two
shape, styles.
redheads is already like, oh, that's kind of interesting, you know.
Yeah, there's a couple redheads, a couple black girls, a couple yoga people.
The race of yoga people.
Wait,
Yeah.
the yoga person was black? That's like a female doctor.
So Victoria says that her goal in life is to smash daily.
Yikes.
So there's that. You got Desiree, who was married at 18 and then divorced, and now she's like 36. So like a normal person. You got Marissa,
yeah,
who I
exactly.
wrote
That's
no
like
notes for.
I bet they make
So I
a
don't
big
know.
deal out of the fact that she got married and is divorced, but like, yeah, that is like a pretty normal story.
They don't. She just says she was married at 18 and like it shaped her.
Oh, okay.
And then she's like, can't tell how old I am. And then later it comes out that she's like 36. Marissa has no notes. I don't know her. There's another Brittany.
It's just no nose?
No notes. I wrote no notes for her, so I don't.
Michael Jackson.
This one is called Brittany, but it's spelled Brittany, like Brittnay.
Oh, it's not A-N-Y?
Brittany. No, it's Nay. Brittany is a weather person.
She's a weather person
preferred term
on television.
Is weather girl.
What do you call it? She's a meteorologist. There's Holly. Holly says woo a lot. You got Elise, who I wrote down liquor helps in quotations, so I'm not sure what that means, but that's my recollection of her.
Yikes.
Liquor helps. And then you got Zul Haley. 20 stars.
Like
Zul Haley. Zuljeily. She's from Puerto Rico, I think.
Okay.
Zul
Haley. You were saying it was like the evil version of Haley. Like Z-U-L.
There is no Dana. There's only Zul Haley.
Only Zul Haley. I'm Zul Haley. I'm on the cheerleading
Dana,
team.
Only Zul Haley.
For this one, for this group, instead of doing instead of doing the talent show, they do Are You as Smart as a Guido?
Oh.
So they just ask them like the simplest trivia questions imaginable,
And they miss
and only two out of the first in the first round, only 2 people get it right.
Yikes.
And move on to the second round. Where it's sudden death, and Maria beats Christina, which is funny because Christina and Maria are like the 2 hotheads. And then that's it. And he sends a couple people home. I think he sends Desiree home.
Ah, not Desiree.
And then I think Allie got sent home, and Kate got sent home. Well, Kate sent herself home. But I will say this about Double Shot at Love. It looks to be shaping up to be an insane season. I missed the second episode, and it wasn't available on demand, so I ended up recording a rerun of it. I'm going to watch it in the next couple of days. So pretty soon, next episode, probably you'll hear about it. Man, that's a lot.
I appreciate that, Aaron. That was very good content that you just pitched my way. I enjoyed that. I was going to say we should start like a spin-off podcast about reality shows, but really we should just talk about reality shows more on this podcast. Talk about guitars less. Not that...
Talk about guitars fewer.
Talk about lesser guitars.
Like cheaper guitars?
Yeah. I mean, I won't be able to do that because I don't have any lesser guitars. Speaking of less guitars, is there anyone that you know of that can turn my Les Paul into a Moore Paul? Or into a Rand Paul? Or a John Paul?
They'll turn your Rand Paul into a RuPaul.
Crap. Ed Chu's the one who sent me that one that I can't read, and it's going to pop in my head every time we do this now.
You got to send it to us at least.
I will.
Yeah.
And then Phil can read it on the podcast. We're talking about Gun Street Wiring.
But it's racist, so it probably fit more for me.
We're talking about the Meryl Streep Wiring Shop here. The Gun Street Wiring Shop.
You guys okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
I'm thinking I'm going to get a jazz. So tell me, viewers, write in and tell me what interesting thing I could do with jazz bass wiring, because I really like this Geddy Lee jazz bass, but the bridge pickup volume is like really loose and kind of like rattly. You know how sometimes pots just wear out and they like barely even hold their position. So I should get a new wiring harness for it, but I want to do something cool with it. So, hit us up. Call the voicemail line.
Do the Gun Street Wiring Shop challenge and put them in your guitar.
Buy a Gun Street wiring harness and install it in your guitar.
That's the challenge.
I challenge all of the listeners to do that.
If If it doesn't make your guitar more enjoyable to play, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yes, it does.
He said if it doesn't, then you're an idiot, basically.
It does that.
If it doesn't, then yes, it does.
Then yes, it does. That's actually their new motto. If it doesn't make your guitar more fun to play, then yes, it does. Well, thanks for friendship.
What?
That's why I'm just going to start saying that during awkward silences from now on. People like look down at their iPod. What the heck?
So I've been playing this Vinny amp from Benson Amps, and
Yeah.
I'm
And
like,
now you just need a Paulie D.
I know, dude. Oh, I should call my guitar Paulie D.
Dude, you got to get a Les Paul and call it Paulie D, and then you'd have your Paul and your Vinny.
Bro.
Oh. Shove your Paulie D into your Vinny.
Oh, Phil, no. This isn't a place for your fan fiction, for your Jersey Shore / fiction.
If I had Paulie D and Vinny, I would smash daily.
You'd make them smash daily.
But I'm wondering, I'm really enjoying having an amp that's not like super clean, which is different for me, but I really like it. And I find that I don't use overdrive pedals as much.
Yeah.
Is that just because it sounds really good?
I know this isn't the same thing, but that's kind of how I've been with the Helix lately. Like at first I was basically just using like the Fender clean amp model or whatever. But I've been using more of the other dirty amps, and they sound freaking amazing. So I'm honestly thinking I might downsize to just my mini board and just put like 2 overdrives on there and call it good.
Dude, you should.
Because that'd be cool.
Just call it good.
Call it good. So tell us about the Vinny. Tell us what you know about it.
So the Vinny is a 1-watt amp from Benson Amplifiers in Portland, Oregon. Let me grab it really quick. Hold on 1 second. Say something.
Every time we talk about Chris Benson, I want to say Doug Benson, and usually do on accident. And I need to find a way to stop doing that. Because Doug Benson is the comedian. You know?
It's a 1-watt amp, and it has a 12AX7 preamp and an EL84 for the power section. So it's kind of got a lot going on.
But it has a pretty big output transformer.
Yeah, it does. I mean,
which is
considering.
Yeah. So like it's loud for a 1-watt amp. It just breaks up pretty early.
It's loud, but yeah, it's not super loud. Like cranked, it's not.
Yeah, but when you hear 1 watt, you think of like some little desktop amp.
Yeah. It's 1 tube watt.
Tube watt.
Which,
tube
if you're
watt
looking,
or not
it's like I think it's like
Tube watt.
Isn't like 1 watt like half as loud as 10 watts or something like that, or is that decibels? Or is that
you're
2
thinking
decibels?
of earthquakes?
No, I remember one time someone said, I remember hearing that like a 50-watt amp is twice as loud as a 5-watt amp. It's not like 10 times as loud; it's twice as loud, which may not be like a true thing, but maybe it's more like it feels like that. It's not.
It's a factor of 6.
Yeah, that's the Richter scale.
Yeah,
so it'd be a factor of 6 when it's twice. Like if you're talking in dB,
a factor of 6.
Oh, and I am.
So like a 6-watt amp would be twice as loud as a 1-watt amp, unless we're talking about like power. Depending on
but it's not a direct correlation like power to volume.
Like
right?
the thing that determines the wattage of an amp is is the power at which it reaches some level of harmonic distortion. And that's why tube amps are so much louder. Is it's just a function of how wattage is measured. It's not wattage isn't a measure of like maximum output or anything like that. It's just a measure of course at a certain power, and it comes from like the pro audio world where you want a power amp that is clean, and so at a certain level you hit like 0.1% of total harmonic distortion or something, and that's where your power is measured. But because tubes don't just start breaking up at some hard point, they break up early. They just happen to have a lower wattage because of how it's measured.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So suck on that, haters.
That actually like is helpful because I was watching this that pedal show video where they go build amps.
Yeah.
And the dude the amp guy was telling them like it used to not really mean much when you would hear the wattage of an amp because they would just like label it whatever they wanted,
Yeah.
like, oh, this is, but now it's more standardized, so it actually does.
And there is like it's still like you'll see some power amp manufacturers that'll publish. I mean, nowadays usually they'll publish the harmonic distortion at a certain wattage, but there isn't like an official standard, but everyone kind of agrees on a level to measure it at.
Right.
So yeah, if anyone doesn't do that, then it's seen as like, oh, they're just trying to pull the wool over your eyes,
Today's 420. Here's a list of the 7 habits of effectively high people. Just relax, man. Think about nachos. Call up JJ. Wonder what's up with space. Eat a whole thing of cookie dough. Watch Space Cowboys in Spanish. Synergize.
Are these?
Where did you get this from?
Those are the 7 habits of effectively high people.
These are suggestions?
No, those are the
They're
habits.
just the
7
habits
habits.
of high
Like,
people.
one habit that you have is just relax, man.
But one habit is what's up with space? That's
No,
not a
one
habit.
wonder. It says wonder what's
Wonder
up with
what's-
space.
Oh.
My habit is to wonder what's up with space.
That's pretty good. I was watching Drunk History. I always, are you guys the same way where if you're flying, you're like automatically more like all of your emotions are heightened? Like I'll laugh like audibly at something on a plane that I wouldn't necessarily at home. But I was watching Drunk History on the plane, and holy crap, it was funny.
No, that show's really funny.
Freaking
I love that show.
And it was like about these heroines during the World War, during like one of them was during the Revolutionary War, and Mandy Moore was playing the person, which just makes it that much funnier because she's just like swearing like crazy, and I don't know. I picture Mandy Moore as just being like this wholesome, girl next door or whatever. So yeah, it's way funny. Anyways, so check out Drunk History. That's our other sponsor. And
Check
Pelican
out Drunk
Resorts.
History. Check out
Right?
Vincent Vinny from Benson Amps.
Oh yeah, tell us more about the Vinny.
I mean, that's pretty much it. I really like it. It's cool because you can like crank it and get it working, like get that tube and power tube overdrive without like destroying your house. Like,
one
I
of the
can play
coolest features is, correct me if I'm wrong, I might be imagining
you're
this,
right.
but it has a direct out, so it has
It does, yeah.
It has like a built-in speaker load, so when you don't plug in a speaker, you can basically just use it as like a direct box, and it actually
and you
uses
can actually do both at the same time too, I think.
Yeah, and it actually uses the preamp section for the direct box, so you get like a really good amp sound out of it. So I think a lot of people use it as like a studio tool.
Yeah, you can do that, and you can also run it like into another amplifier too.
Yeah, like into the effects loop of another amp or whatever.
Yeah, or even, like,
into
just
the
in
front
the front
if it's
end.
clean or whatever. Yeah.
But if you wanted to like use the power amp from like a larger amplifier, you could do that. I have this. I have like 2 fancy amps right now. I also have the Bad Cat Classic Cat. So I'm thinking about putting this into that, and see how that sounds, because I think that could be really cool.
Or even just run it in, because it has like a 1x8 that it comes with, or 1x10.
It's a 110, yeah.
I wonder I bet it sounds awesome through like a 412 or something.
Oh, I would imagine it has to.
So you need
This
to
110
take it to
cabinet and
Guitar
speaker is
Center
really
and just
cool,
plug
though.
it into one.
Just take it to Guitar Center. Didn't
they
we
even
play it
have-
through a 412 at Mike and Mike's?
Yeah. But I kind of, that was all, I don't know. I don't remember much. I was so nervous about playing that old bass.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got shocked,
That was fun,
remember?
though. Yeah.
And I was like trying to,
Shocking.
well, actually, your wiring is blah, blah, blah. And they were like, no, you're just an idiot, Cole. And I was. They were right.
They're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure we have tuned this room specifically to not.
They're like,
have
I
that
think
wire."
we know what we're talking about, you moron.
No, you just touched something you shouldn't have touched.
Yeah,
That was fun.
that was way
That
fun.
was really fun. Oh man, Phil, do you have any content for us?
Sure.
All right.
I like
You
turtles.
want to give it to us now?
Wait, like to eat?
What?
To eat?
I don't like to eat turtles.
Do you
Why
like to
not?
eat eeples and beninis?
Turples and Benerples?
Benerples, that's my clothing site. You can buy clothes. They have like fashion consultants and stuff. Benerples. When we were
Oh,
in
is this
Africa,
like one of those subscription things where like
yeah. So
you log in, you tell them your preferences, and then they start sending you clothes every month, whether you want them or not?
Yeah, you pay $20 a month, but then if you order something, you like that $20 comes out of that item.
Yeah, right. Benerples.
It's called Benerples.
So I was in Africa. Ever heard of it? And it was for like
Yeah, it's an entire continent.
who? Oh crap! Who was it that said? It was some like child actress that said, "I am from every continent in Africa." So that this trip was for like we call it the dedication, but so it's for the temple there, but it's like the grand opening or whatever. And so and there's like a big ceremony and stuff. And so the contractors will come, but it's kind of just like a fun kind of celebration for them because they've been like some of the contractors, the general contractors based out of the U.S. Most of the labor was local, but they had actually lived there for like years, from the U.S. And so they came back as sort of a semi-vacation, and we'd be eating dinner at night, and they kept talking about like, oh yeah, we were going down to Bonobos, and the last night they had to cut, like there's this one device, they had to cut a hole in it for us to mount one of our things into, and they hadn't done it yet. And he was like, oh crap, I was texting him, and he's like, yeah, I'll come back. I was just down at the Bonobos, and so I'll try to make it back tonight. And I kept like, for the life of me, I'm thinking like, okay, they don't have a single like recognizable store in this entire country, and you're telling me there's a Bonobos here? And also, like, why did you go to Africa to go to a freaking clothing store that you could just go order the stuff online? And then I finally realized they were talking about going to see these monkeys that's like the
bonobos,
species is
yeah.
called bonobos.
That's funny.
Yeah. But then it was still one of those things where every time I would hear it again, like when you think something and you realize you're wrong, but then you're still like, your context is still screwed up, because then they'd mention it again and I would still have to like resolve that in my head, like, oh yeah, that's not the clothing store and it's not the lead singer of U2, it's just the monkeys.
It's just the monkeys. Hey, it's the monkeys.
Hey, it's the monkeys. Maybe they aren't actually monkeys because they don't have tails, I think.
No, they're apes. It was Raven Simone who said, I never said I wasn't black. I said I wasn't African American. To me, that's a difference. Thank you to Ancestry.com for sending me my DNA test. I am from every continent in Africa except for one. And I'm also from every continent in Europe except for one.
What?
She's talking about like her
She just
DNA.
doesn't
That's another
means country.
Yes.
country.
Yeah, but that's another funny
using the right word.
vine. It's just this lady. It plays that clip of I'm from every continent in Africa. She's like, this must be that new geography. How many continents are there in Africa? Oh man. Yeah, so that's she's who did she play? That's So Raven?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she was
But
also,
she was also,
on the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
With the pudding from every continent in Africa except for one.
Monica.
Monica.
Monica, eat the chocolate cake.
You put your sister and your friend together, Monica and Chandler.
Every time we do these impressions, I always hope that we're gonna like secretly find out that someone can do a good impression. Unfortunately, we haven't found that out today.
Are you gonna do your Pee Wee Herman?
No, crap. I didn't say that one was good. Who can do a good? What can you do a good impression of, Phil? That we found out was like Christopher Walken or something like that.
Oh my gosh!
No, I can't do a good Christopher Walken.
Who was it though? It was somebody. Anyways,
I did a pretty good. What's his name? Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Let's hear it.
I can't remember it now.
This guy at my work, he's
I
like
can't get no respect. That's bad. That was bad. I lost it.
There's this guy that I work with who's like very childlike. He's turning 60 this year, but you wouldn't know it to look at him. And he's always making dad jokes and stuff. He's the nicest guy in the world, but he makes a lot of like lame jokes that are objectively not funny. And he does like terrible impressions that he knows are terrible. But then he does like the most spot on Homer Simpson impression. And so he'll bust it out of the blue. And if you're with people that have never heard it before, they're like, holy crap. You can do a good impression. You just choose not to usually.
That's funny.
If you could do
but like then just keep doing that one then.
If you could do one perfect impression, who would it be?
Like if you could just choose to have that skill?
Yeah. And not like something that would like let you extort people or something, just for like humor, you know. Christopher Walken is a really good one.
Okay, mine would be Gwen Stefani. If I could do a perfect Gwen Stefani.
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
Why? What would you say?
I don't know. It just seems funny. I think it would be a lot funnier if it was a woman. Is where I'm going.
That would be good.
And then she has like a very distinctive voice.
Like Jennifer Lawrence would be another one like that. That like she has a very distinctive voice, doesn't she?
Jennifer Lawrence.
Am I thinking of the right person?
Who's
the Hunger Games?
I don't think so. She has a distinctive voice.
Yeah, it's like scratchy. It sounds like sounds like Phil's kid.
Dude, get your side to just read some Hunger Games lines.
So you're saying my kid is doing a great Jennifer
Lawrence
impression?
Yeah, dude, your kid does a killer J-Law impression. That would be good. Oh, how about like Wanda Sykes would be a good one.
I always feel a little uncomfortable like impersonating black people.
Totally.
Or
I think
that's like my favorite.
I'm gonna go with Trump. I'm gonna go with Trump, and like I know he's got like a super exaggerated voice, so everybody can when you're saying you can do a bad one and people know that you're doing Trump.
Yeah.
But if you could do like an accurate,
wouldn't it be cool to like be like sound exactly like him and make people like, holy crap, you really do sound like him?
Because like Harry Carey
or
has
Michael Caine.
Harry Carey has a funny voice, but like whenever anyone impersonates him, they do the Will Ferrell one, which doesn't really sound like him, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good. Trump.
Trump would be good.
I love that guy. Good guy.
I would like to be able to do. What's his name? Bill Hader.
Yeah.
Not an impression, but actual Bill Hader. Because he has a crazy
You just
voice.
want to be Bill Hader?
Yeah. Smash Daily. Bill Hader!
With the pudding. Theo! You put the roofie in the drink. Sorry, man. That's a little too dark. Yeah, for some reason that fear doesn't extend to Bill Cosby because like
Yeah.
for whatever reason, his voice, like, it doesn't, I don't know. They're enough. Like, if you, like, doing a really good Chris Rock impression is scary because it's like,
I think part of it is because, this is really weird, maybe, but Bill Cosby doesn't speak in what you would
no, totally.
say is like a culturally black voice.
Yeah, he's
so
like a
you're
white.
not like, you're just mimicking him. You're not also mimicking like black culture at the same time.
Yeah, he's like a white guy in a black guy's body, kind of. Well, it's like, remember
Dax,
that Always Sunny scene where they're doing the Obama impression? And D's like, what you talking about, Joe Biden?
oh my God.
Like, whoa, D, that was super racist.
Dax Shepard, on his podcast, he said recently,
Oh man,
he goes, I do a really good Chris Rock impression, but I'm not going to do it now because it'll make me sound racist. And then they're like, well, wait, but is it a good Chris Rock impression? He's like, well, and then they're like, because if you're not doing if you can't tell that it's specifically a Chris Rock impression, then it
probably
racist.
is racist. Exactly. It's like, I can do a black comedian impression. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
right, exactly.
Dave Chappelle. Maybe it's Kevin Hart. I don't know.
No, see, Kevin Hart, I feel like Kevin Hart and what's his name? Chris Tucker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they both have very
both have,
similar,
like,
high
high
shrill voices.
Yeah, shrill, fast talking.
And even Chris Rock to a certain extent. Dave Chappelle is like the outlier there, I think.
Totally.
Dave
Chappelle,
do you like
Barack Obama, Bill Cosby. They all have their own voices.
Barack Obama is a funny impression too, if you can do it good. We've been blessed with a couple, like, because George W. Bush was like a good source of comedy for a lot of reasons, but it wasn't really because of his voice.
He kind of was. He had that exaggerated kind of personality goofball thing.
But like if he was just a guy that you worked with or something, you wouldn't think he had a weird voice at all. But if you worked with Donald Trump, you would think he had a weird voice, you know?
Right. He's always had a weird voice.
Yeah. Do you like Dax Shepard's podcast?
Build a wall around the people.
No collusion.
Crooked Hillary.
Check with the emails and the fake news.
Where's
And the Benghazi and Ben Carson.
Where's your birth certificate, Obama? So stupid.
It was very stupid. Do you listen to
Not a puppet. Not a puppet.
Do you listen to Conan's
You're
podcast?
the puppet.
Sad.
Phil?
There
Dax
are
Shepard.
many sides to Dax Shepard's podcast.
Do you listen to Conan's podcast?
I like Dax Shepard's podcast.
It's one of the ones that I kind of like. I scroll through, and when it's like, oh, I know that person. Then I
like it
listen to that one.
downloads it every week, but I only listen to about half of them.
Yeah,
but Conan's do you listen to Conan?
No, I have not. But you've mentioned it before.
It's very similar to Dax Shepard. Like, it gets, like, you know how Dax, I mean, I'm sure, like, having, like, being a drug addict in remission or whatever you want to call that, like
recovery.
Remission.
Recovery.
In recovery, yeah, in remission. Like, he had cancer. He had drug cancer.
It's you're thinking of the remix.
It could come back.
The remix to Remission.
It's the remix to Remission. And and because of that, he's like always, he kind of wears his heart on his sleeve. I don't know if it's because of that, but he gets very emotional very quickly. Not emotional like he's crying, but he talks about like very deep stuff, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And Conan's kind of the same way. Like, they're always talking about, their childhoods. And
did Conan used to be on drugs?
No. But I'm just saying, like, first I was basically making sure that my perception was accurate, that Dax is sort of, he is more prone to that than most people. Like, I don't think Joe Rogan constantly talks about why his emotions are the way they are and stuff. But Conan is that way. No, Conan actually jokes about how he's never, like, he's not still religious, but having grown up religious, he still, like, has too much guilt associated with any kind of drug, so he's just never done any.
That's funny.
And he, like, hardly drinks and stuff. But his is good for the same reason Dax is good, because Dax has oh crap, what's her name?
Not Melanie.
You know what I'm talking about?
Monica.
It's like they're
Monica.
Monica Padman.
Yes.
Monica Padman. Monica.
And it's like somebody who's like significantly less famous than him, but that he has a lot of respect for and can, like, give him a hard time and stuff. And Conan's assistant is on the podcast with him, and it's kind of the same way.
Our podcast is good too.
Yeah, but they're already
So
listening.
go to patreon.com and give us money.
Is this the part where we tell people how to listen to this podcast? Now that
You
they're
can find us on all major
over
retailers.
an hour into it. If you stumbled on this if you just tuned your radio dial into this podcast on accident, go to SoundCloud.
If somebody is obnoxiously playing this on a subway without headphones,
okay,
and you are forced to listen.
Like, guys, I'm not racist, okay? So I want to make that part clear. And by saying I'm not racist, that means that I am not racist.
Oh, no.
But, like, when you travel to different countries, you notice very specific things about cultures that you never see here. And one of those things is that when I was in Kinshasa, it was very common for people to be listening to things on their phone at, like, full volume. Just, like, holding it at a normal distance from their face, watching a video or some, like, Facebook thing, and just listening to it at full volume for everyone to hear.
That's
really
funny.
And I guess, I don't know, maybe people just aren't as, headphones just aren't
But
as
see, the
ubiquitous
thing, there's the part about that being, like, insensitive to the people around you, but there's also, I can't concentrate on the thing I'm watching because of all the sounds around me.
Yeah.
That I'm
But whenever I experience stuff like that, it makes me curious, like, what about, like, you might have stereotypes about African people that, that come from one thing or another, but I would not have thought that would be a stereotype of African people. And it makes me wonder, like, why is it that they, that they do that? They just don't have headphones as often? I don't know. Are you concerned about this part, Aaron?
No.
Is this troubling?
I was distracted. I'm sorry. I don't
have to cut this
know what
out.
it was to be concerned about it.
I think
cool. I'm concerned
Americans,
about.
I think this is like a normal
making your appointment.
This is like a normal thing, but Americans have, like, a much wider personal space than most people. I think.
Yeah,
that's like a
true.
very well-known thing, though, right?
Yeah.
I freaking hate
Like,
it.
we don't walk around holding hands with our buddies.
But also, we don't, like, if we're standing in line, we aren't just, like, straight
Yeah.
up the dude's butt in front of us.
Yeah, true.
And it drives me insane when you're like, because you're already kind of on edge when you're traveling and you're doing these red-eye flights, and then, like, you feel somebody bumping into your backpack every 2 seconds. It drives me insane.
It's the worst.
And then when they sit next to you on the plane and fart the whole time. That has nothing to do with where they're from. That's just someone being a jerk. So I told you guys, I had, like, this really bad red-eye flight out of Africa. And this...
Wait, Cole, didn't you say you have to leave at 8:30?
Yes, but it's okay. I'm telling this story.
Okay.
And this guy was farting the whole... I was, like, all the way at the back of the plane. And most of the guys I was traveling with were, like, way up front in, like, the comfort seats and everything. And so that probably contributed to why I was in a bad mood.
You're just grumpy.
This guy kept farting, and he was, like, even fatter than me, which I get it. Like, this is very much the pot calling the kettle black. But when there's two of us in 2 seats, it just makes it more uncomfortable and everything. So I was just cranky getting off the plane, and then I go talk to the other guys. And there was a bunch of, not guys that were in my group, but guys who were there for the dedication, and we had been at the same hotel and stuff, so we had gotten to know each other. apparently some dude up there next to one of those guys like projectile vomited all over the place.
What?
and then passed out.
Oh my
and it
gosh.
took him like 5 minutes to revive the guy, and then everyone's like
That's
covered in
crazy.
puke and everything, and I was like, oh yeah, this is like this is a good life lesson. It's all about perspective, you know. Sitting next to that fat farty guy at the back doesn't sound so bad now, you know.
That's crazy.
So that's your lesson for today.
6 of one,
you
half
think-
a dozen of the other.
If you think your life is bad, you could be vomited on. And that'd
Or you could be
worse.
the dude vomiting and then passing out on the plane.
No, he was the perpetrator in this scenario. That was his fault.
He's the perp. He's the
perp.
vig.
And they apparently took him somewhere and he never came back. They might have just killed him.
Just dropped him out of the plane.
Like they helped him like go back and clean up, but this was like pretty early on in the flight. It was a 9-hour flight. And it was a full flight. So I don't know what maybe they let him just stay back.
Do they have some kind of like medical tent or something?
I don't know.
Tent,
like
but you know what I
like
mean?
they obviously have seats where the flight attendants can go sit, but those are just like
Yeah,
kind of in the
there's,
middle
like,
of
jump seats.
everything. Yeah.
It's
So
weird.
I don't know. So if anyone with some flying experience knows where they could have taken that guy for like 6 hours and he never came back, tell us. Or they just dumped him in the Sahara and he's just
Sahara.
dead. No, the Sahara.
Sahara.
Sahara. Sahara.
Sahara.
The Sahara. Monica with the Sahara.
No, you know what that sounds like is Ja Rule from Fast and the Furious. Monica.
Okay, guys, now I really have to go. Was it worth it? Was that story worth me being late for my kid's soccer game?
I don't
So
know.
worth
Probably
it.
not. Okay.
All right. Thanks for friendship.
Thanks for friendship.
Thanks for friendship.